My name's Lisa Borton and I'm an occupational therapist here at the Campbell Centre in Milton Keynes. Today we'll be focusing on reasons why this unit has gone smoke-free. So, to ensure that the Campbell Centre is providing the highest level of care possible, there's a policy that's there to operate a completely smoke-free environment, which may feel like quite an intimidating idea to some people, especially those who are feeling vulnerable, for who that smoking is an established part of their routine at home, and then they bring it into hospital. Very distressing situation for everybody. And added to this fact is that the hospitals already have what seems like a never-ending list of rules, regulations that everybody has to follow, staff and patients, and that can actually be quite tricky enough to remember because there's loads of them. So being asked to quit smoking could leave some people feeling more vulnerable than they did before they even were admitted. So that is just another rule and another enforcement, or even that it's just a form of punishment. A lot of people said it's a form of punishment, that they're stressed, they're distressed, and now they have to quit. So at this point, many of you already will be thinking, well, how on earth does stopping smoking actually help me cope with stress? Well, after all, to most smokers, in times of stress and distress, when people are really craving, they really want to smoke the most, often relying on smoking as a coping mechanism to get them through the day. So that's why, in order to provide the best possible level of support to our service users, whichever service they're in, it's really important to know and recognise the issues around people with mental health conditions and smoking, to remember that as a healthcare facility and healthcare professionals, improving service users' health and physical well-being and mental well-being, minimising the stress, that is at all times our #1 priority.
Hiya, I'm Amy Humphreys. I'm the fitness lead here at the Campbell Centre. As part of my role, it's important for me to help patients with their health and well-being. Since the unit has gone smoke-free, it's been my role to really promote that in their fitness journey, and a lot of the patients have come to me and said that now they're looking after their fitness, actually they want to start looking after their body. So it's really helping mixing the two together. And it's also giving the patients an option for when they're stressed and they want to relieve some energy, that they can come in the gym so that they won't go to smoking instead as an option. So it's working really well at the moment. We've got really positive feedback from all the patients so far. As my role, it's important that staff are happy and patients are happy, so that the care we provide is at a higher standard. So smoke-free in general is actually working really well, just to help the staff morale and patients as well, relieving their stress, and I'm helping out with their energy levels and their fitness side of it as well.
When people are admitted to the Campbell Centre, and especially and the ones who smoke, they automatically think the last thing on their mind is to give up smoking. But in retrospect, it's the best thing they can do to help themselves to stop smoking, because it will have a beneficial effect for everything else they do while they stay in the Campbell Centre.
Hi mate, my name's Roger and I work for the Campbell Centre on reception and security.
Okay, that's great. So we just wanted to ask you a couple of questions about obviously the smoking and being a non-smoker now. What do you think is the difference that you notice from being a smoker to being a non-smoker?
Definitely you feel more healthy.
In what sense do you feel that?
Where before, you find it hard breathing, and when you're doing exercise you just feel clogged, and now it's a lot more beneficial. You do feel a lot better for it, definitely.
Okay, so the breathing has improved.
Yeah, definitely. Circulation.
Okay, fantastic. So would you say that that impacted on your day-to-day life?
Definitely.
Okay, fantastic.
Definitely.
So what made you decide that you wanted to be smoke-free?
Well, I've got 2 family members that You know, like my father, he had angina, my mother's got angina, and it's all down to smoking. I lost my father when he was 62 through smoking, and it definitely opens your eyes, and it makes you think. You know, he's supposed to have had a triple bypass, but they wouldn't do it because he wouldn't pack up smoking. So, you know, and it was all down just to his arteries all being clogged up. You know, through all the poisons and that, and the cigarettes and everything. So, it's not worth it. Going back to when I was young, all my family smoked, and it was sort of the natural thing to do. So, you know, as I grew up in a smoking, you know, atmosphere, it was sort of, well, yeah, it was a natural thing to do. But now, the natural thing to do is kids are being brought up now to dislike smoking, and they're not around it so much, so it's a good thing.
Would you say that comparing to what it is before, when you were growing up to now, do you agree that there's more options and more information?
Definitely.
Okay, and
A
support
lot more.
available.
Years ago, people would smoke in a room with a child in a buggy. Nowadays, if that was done, it's just not, you know, it's not even thought of. And that's what it used to be like years ago. My daughter, she tests smoking, she won't even stand near somebody who's smoking. And that's a good thing, really. You know, she's hopefully going to have a longer life, you know, being smoke-free, definitely.
And if you've got a message that you can pass on to people who still smokes now, what would it be?
I know it's a bad habit, and it is a really, really bad thing to overcome, to packing smoking.
So there's definitely challenges for
But I will say nowadays there's a lot more options and a lot more
support.
alternatives and supplements available to help you along the way. So it's definitely worth giving them a go.
Fantastic, thank you very much.
You're more than welcome.
Thanks. One.
So as we've seen in this video, there's been plenty of opportunity for us to talk about the importance of smoking on people's physical health, the impact of using e-cigarettes and nicotine replacement therapy as means to make this a more positive experience for you while you're on the road, in the community, with your family, with your friends. It's also important for your family and carers and friends to also recognise that this is a smoke-free environment, because we are trying to promote the physical health and well-being that you currently lack or need the experience to maintain whilst being in this unit. Now, there's been a lot of research that has suggested the use of e-cigarettes and vaping and using alternative means such as NRT does have positive life outcomes for you. I mean, when you come into hospital, it's not a very nice experience. You're distressed, you're distorted, you feel poorly, you need the cigarette. But having alternative means to get those cravings and allowing yourself to adapt to the smoke-free environment will actually make it more or less restrictive for you. And I'm always around for support. There's a lot of teams that are trained, there's a lot of staff that's trained. I'm always wearing a blue shirt, so come and speak to me if you need advice, or even if you have a family member that has a lot of difficulties with you smoking or wants you to stop smoking but you don't know what to do. Just ask, because if you don't ask, you don't know. So I think, to sum it up, it's a smoke-free environment. There's areas which you can smoke and there's areas which you cannot smoke, and by complying with these rules or enforcements, it'll feel less restrictive, because at the end of the day, my main role is to support you in finding meaningful activities, but to also improve your physical health outcomes, because when you're in hospital, your physical health is just as poorly as your mental health. So by smoking and not looking after your mental health, both of those together will affect your life outcomes in the future. So I'm not here to say that you can smoke, I'm not here to say that you have to stop smoking, but to make it easier for you, there's always another option.
You are the only person with your exact blend of talents and skills.
Try hard and you will find the right answer. Yeah, but don't say is that right at the end.
Okay. Oh no! Is that right?
Just put it above, just so you're looking at the camera. You'll see it?
Yeah, I'm seeing it.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah. You are your own motivation.
Alright, the secret to being smoke-free is contained in one sentence. Alright. I'm a non-smoker.
I am a non-smoker.
I'm a non-smoker.
I'm a non-smoker.
I'm a non-smoker.
I'm a non-smoker. That was really bad.